Hello everybody, I'm back. Let's review next up for Marvel Phase 3, Doctor Strange, directed by Scott Derrickson, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Chadwick Ejiofor, if I pronounced your name right, Rachel McAdams, Benedict Wong, Mads Mikkelsen, and Tilda Swinton. And yeah, I was actually looking forward to seeing for the first time Doctor Strange get his own solo movie since we were going to get one, I think, in the 1960s or in the 1970s, somewhere around there. And yeah, we finally get to see this finally in the MCU and him getting introduced for the first time to the MCU. And to me, I was actually looking forward to it. Let's first start off with the story. The story itself starts off with Caecilius taking these pages out of the hidden library, becomes a criminal, almost gets taken down by the Ancient One, but escapes and flees. We do manage to see a hint of the Ancient One, and we don't get to see much of the Ancient One, and yeah, that's how the story sets up. But then later we get to see Dr. Stephen Strange, who was a successful neurologist. I think that's what it is. A very fantastic doctor who does a fantastic job. And yeah, he's a bit of a cocky dude, especially how successful of a doctor he is, and him having Christine Palmer on his side was absolutely a fantastic thing. But then later on, things escalate when he goes to a party, answers a phone call, and yeah, never go on the road and talk on the phone, especially driving with a fast Lamborghini car. He was completely busy, completely crashes into a boarding into a wall and flips the car over. And not only does he get messed up, but also messes up even more his hands, and his hands are just shaking like crazy. And he's trying to find many ways in order to find himself a cure for his hands, so he can get back to becoming a doctor once more. But every surgery, every attempt, every doctor's recommendation ends up falling short and failing, and yeah, his hands are still shaking until he loses completely everything. He loses his money. He sells everything that he owns to try to at least find a cure for himself. Even selling his own cars. I think maybe he has a few cars. And then actually loses his love interest, Christine Palmer, played by Rachel McAdams, which we'll get to soon. He goes off on his own, finds a tip from a guy named Jonathan Pachang, I think that's his name, who did got the same bad thing that happened to him. He couldn't walk, but he did manage to walk again, all thanks to somebody up in Nepal. And with that, Doctor Strange follows suit and then goes to Nepal and ends up finding Mordor and meets the Ancient One for the first time. And that's when the Doctor Strange origin story begins. And yeah, story itself, fantastic. That gets a plus. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Stephen Strange and Doctor Strange, and he does a fantastic job. To me, he reminds me of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Tony Stark, but he's a doctor, not an inventor. But to me, he does a fantastic job, and oh man, he got the American accent completely right, and yeah, and he absolutely nails it and does completely well, and that gets a plus. And also and how the way he went from doctor to bum to sorcerer was absolutely cool, a cool element for that, and that also gets a plus, which again I might say. For Chadwick Ejiofor, if I pronounced your name right, playing Baron Mordor, does a fantastic job being the supporting cast for this one. To me, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Baron Mordor does in the future Doctor Strange movies, and yeah, him signing with Stephen Strange, motivating him to do better and also forget about his past and to at least move on with new things, to at least become a better sorcerer, to at least show everybody that not only can he become just an ordinary person, but also become a much better a better sorcerer than anybody, and at least give hope to take down Caecilius from what actually done. We'll get to him soon enough, but to me, Chadwick Ejiofor as Baron Mordor does a fantastic job, and him training as Doctor Strange was absolutely a cool element, and that is a plus. Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. This was controversial, and yeah, we get to see her performance. People were divided about a woman playing the Ancient One who was supposed to be a dude. We do get to see that the Ancient One was supposed to be a dude, but actually there was an element of that, but kind of like says, that's not him, this is me, I'm the Ancient One. To me, it felt like a low blow, but to me, I was actually cool with it because I'm more of a fan of this guy. But Doctor Strange's element, kind of like felt a little off, but but what saved it was her performance was absolutely fantastic. Her motivating Doctor Stephen Strange, to becoming a Sorcerer Supreme was absolutely cool. Training him, pushing him over the limit, and showing that he not only is he just a human being with who has completely lost everything, but who can become a better man and also a better sorcerer. And to me, it elevates the movie, and it does get a plus to me, in my opinion. To me, she does a fantastic job. Tilda Swinton as the sorcerer, as the ancient one, fantastic job. Plus, and here's one that I'm a bit iffy about, but I think I might give it a down plus on this one, a down minus on this one. Mads Mikkelsen as Caecilius. His performance as the villain was great, but I would have loved to see a backstory of his motivations. Like, why did he turn evil? Why is he, like, why did he became from a sorcerer to a zealot, and at least taking those forbidden pages, who makes these crystal eyes out of it, these purple elements that makes his eyes completely cry out, turn out to be that he loses his daughter, his wife, due to an accident that has happened with another evil sorcerer. And yeah, it completely like motivates him, and at least just completely like abandons the ancient one and just doesn't care about anything. And to me, I would have loved to see like a backstory of that. We do get that in the deleted scene, but to me it felt a little bit off, and it sucks that they never added this in. And a bit of a backstory to Caecilius would have saved it all, but to me, I'm a little bit iffy. Mads Mikkelsen does good, but a backstory would have at least acknowledged him a little bit more. But to me, that gets a negative on that one. Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer. I'm a bit divided on this one. Her performance was absolutely great, but we don't get to see her from like later on until the almost ending of the movie. Her becoming the love interest of Dr. Stephen Strange, and how the way they became a couple to a separated couple in the very end, and then her experience finally getting to see Dr. Stephen Strange now completely a different person and also a sorcerer, which kind of shocked her the most. I would have loved to see some scenes of Dr. Stephen Strange remembering Christine Palmer from back in the day, and being them as a couple, at least a little bit of as a couple, because it shows a little bit that they are a couple. But to me, that was a bit of a wasted opportunity. I would have loved to see this come out, but it doesn't. But at least to me, it does a fantastic job in my opinion. But I'm a little divided on it. I just would have wished to see a little bit more scenes of her, even though at least being better a couple than, no offense, Thor and Jane. But it's good. They're good, but at least this one outwitted a little bit more. But Pepper Potts and Tony Stark was a little bit better. But right here, Christine Palmer and Thor and Jane right here. So, yeah, I'm going to have to be divided on that one. The action sequences, absolutely fantastic. It does start off in the beginning with the great action sequences, but then later on, halfway through the movie, it does start off going slowly, slowing the pace. We get to see a little bit more backstory of Doctor Strange and everything else and how the way he suffers. But the action sequences of Doctor Strange training, fighting against the Zealots, Caecilius, and even facing off against Dormammu was absolutely cool. And the action sequences does get a plus. And the visuals itself, the CGI, absolutely amazing. I was completely blown away. And I did watch this in 3D, and wow, I was mind blown. And my mouth was open, and I was like, wow, I wish I was a sorcerer, but that stuff is not existent, so that sucks. That gets a plus. For the supporting cast, Wong, played by Benedict Wong, does a fantastic job. I did like him being the bookkeeper and the guy who watches over the books after losing one of the bookkeepers in the very beginning of the movie. But him more being taking care of the books after what Caecilius has done. His performance was absolutely cool. Jonathan Pachang, played by the guy from Miss Congeniality, I don't remember his name is, but I think his name might pop up here, does a fantastic job. Even though we get to see small elements in the beginning of the movie, and then very later on in the very ending of the movie, we get to see in the after credits scene what happens to him. And yeah, it's cool to see that element though. But yeah, and then as for the Zealots and the Sorcerers, to me, I thought the performances were good, and yeah, I would have wished to hear them at least say something, even though they grunt a lot, because at least they're on each other's side from different sides. Same thing with the Zealots and for the Sorcerers. But yeah. And here's the cons of the movie. I would have loved to see, and yeah, I get to plus the supporting cast. As for the cons, I would have loved to see more training for Doctor Strange. We do get the training of it, but I would have loved to see like maybe a final sequence of Doctor Strange at least succeeding on taking down Baron Mordo on round 2 on a practice fight, and then at least seeing the Ancient One. Congratulations, Doctor Stephen Strange. I can't believe how far you went so fast. I'm here to congratulate you. And then after that, we get to hear the word that Caecilius Caecilius is on the loose. He's here and there, and then that's when Ancient One takes off, and that's when Doctor Strange takes off, gets to experience the Time Stone, which is cool. We get to see the Time Stone for the first time. It would have been better off explored like that, get a little bit more of the training of Doctor Strange, and yeah, that's a bit of a wasted opportunity in my opinion, and I would have loved to see that. But the Time Stone part was cool, and yeah, Dormammu, the villain is himself, was an absolutely cool, and also played by Benedict Cumberbatch, was awesome, and I can't wait to see what Dormammu has in store for maybe in future installments. But who knows? In my opinion, I'm going to have to give Doctor Strange an 8 out of 10. I gave it a 9, but due to, I would have wished to see more of the, more training, and then congratulations from the training from the Ancient One. Would have been cool, and a better element to at least show it off. And a bit of backstory of Caecilius would at least give this movie a 10 out of 10, but to me, that's what I can give it the most. 8 out of 10. It's an amazing movie. It's definitely, it does get a seal of approval, and it's a must watch. But for next time, I'm going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And this is actually a movie that I'm actually looking forward to in the future, especially with everything that can go with everything else. But anyways, guys, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I'm doing that next. I'll be seeing you guys next time.